Okay, so here we go with another episode of Batman the Animated Series, and this is one of my personal favorite episodes of the series. I know I say that a lot. But this show is just that good, man. Like, what do you expect me to say? It's going to be more rare when I'm like, I'm not too crazy about this episode than something like this, where, no, this is a truly awesome episode. This is one of the best episodes. This is one of, like, the best Batman things ever. And part of the reason that it's so great is because you don't get just one Batman in this episode, you get two. Because the guest star on this episode is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Adam West. Oh, yes, TV's original Batman. And my personal favorite live action depiction of the character. Now, I know some of you out there might be like, "Oh, well, Adam West is like campy, silly Batman." Well, no. That was what Batman was at the time. Just flat out, straight up. That's what Batman was at that time. If you go back and you read Batman comics at that time, that's what the character was. Like, period. And they might have been trying to do him serious in the comics, but I mean, like, I can't tell you how many people I see that be like, "Oh, the Adam West TV show made Batman silly," and I'm like, dude, like comic books at that time would have Batman holding a gorilla above his head with a bomb strapped to his chest and be like, "I can't let this gorilla touch the ground or Gotham City will explode." I mean, like, that's what Batman was. It was silly fun. That's what the character was always supposed to be at that time. Like the original Batman in 1939, yeah, he was kind of dark and serious, but by the time that the TV show had come around, it had basically been like that for like 20, 30 years, with Batman fighting space aliens and all kinds of wacky stuff. And it wouldn't be till after the TV show went off the air that a couple of guys would come around named Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil, and they would take the character back to the darker roots of the 1939 character. And that's where the Batman of the comics that I remember was truly born, would be that Bronze Age sort of Batman. And of course, the Batman the Animated Series version is like the Bronze Age Batman. So in this episode, hello, Sean Franklin. Welcome to the show. So always a pleasure to see you. So this episode will guest star Adam West, and he will play a character named Simon Trent, who is an out-of-work actor who can't find any jobs because he's typecast as playing a television superhero. So, Adam West is like, "Yeah, I think I can play that." So around this same time, and I think part of it was because of the Batman movie, actually, and attention that Adam West was getting from being on television shows and talking about how he was disappointed that he wasn't, getting to continue his version of Batman, that they were going to do this newfangled version with Mr. Mom in a rubber suit. And he's I think a lot of people that saw him, "Oh, Adam West is still alive," and these were people making TV shows themselves, and they grew up with him and they were fans. So it's like, yeah, let's have Adam West on this episode of Zorro and have him play a character named Dr. Wayne, just hinting that, man, maybe he's the ancestor of Bruce Wayne. Maybe we can bring him onto The Simpsons and have him kind of like poking fun at like the new Batman movies. That would be pretty funny. The only real Catwoman is Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, and Eartha Kitt. And then, of course, on Batman the Animated Series, we gotta get Adam West on here. How can we not get Adam West on here? It's like, it's our responsibility to have Adam West on here. And what better thing to have him play but the character that would have inspired our version of Batman in the first place? So it's a really nice homage to the original show and to characters that would have actually inspired Batman. You look at the Gray Ghost and you see, like, the influence of characters like the Shadow or Zorro in there. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. So we got the Warner Brothers logo, which then morphs into the blimp, and then we have our intro. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in this episode. We're going to have a lot to talk about. But yeah, and then like not long after this, you have Family Guy, and Adam West had a whole nother career on that, playing the mayor on Family Guy. You got kids today that just know him as the mayor from Family Guy. Wait a minute, the mayor from Family Guy used to be Batman? It's crazy. Man, I could talk about Batman the Animated Series all day. I could talk about the 1966 Batman television series all day. I could definitely talk about Adam West being on this show all day. Have you watched Superman and Spider-Man, X-Men fan? Yeah, I've watched all of those. But if you're asking if I have watch-alongs of those on the channel, no, I don't. Not yet. Well, let's finish up Batman the Animated Series, and then we'll figure out where we're going from there. Oh, that's a great shot. So well animated with the fight. 1950s superhero television shows wish they looked this cool. The Gray Ghost. Starring Simon Trent. Oh, hey, they got a nice title card for the episode within the episode, too. I guess Bruce Timm got the idea from The Gray Ghost. And there's Bruce Wayne being such a fanboy. Sitting in front of the TV with his Gray Ghost action figure. God, what a nerd. And then the building blows up. Oh man, that's a great shot of Batman. And then the Gray Ghost seeing the explosion on the show. And me watching this show for the first time, not knowing that Adam West was going to be playing a character on it, and I hear that voice, and I'm like, dude, it's Batman. I mean, not like the regular Batman on this show, but the original Batman. Yeah. Yeah. And again, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Thomas Wayne. He's remembering the episode that he saw when he was a kid that's eerily familiar to what just happened. And again, another example of something that's like really high tech, having the TV and like even like a kind of computer system there in the car. But it's a black and white TV because they're still trying to keep that early 20th century aesthetic. We're looking for a copy of back in the TV show. You can't find one. This is another example of how the world has changed since the show was made. It's like he's got to go to some kind of like TV archive to try to find a copy of this show. Whereas these days he could probably just, look up some clips on YouTube, or check the sail the high seas, as it were. But yeah, it's the Grey Ghost has lost media since it was all destroyed in a fire. I think the Screen Actors Guild is still on strike.
I wish I knew.
But yeah, to do all this detective work, he's got to do a lot of actual footwork and go to visit places and research in books, because the internet doesn't really exist yet.
He's right here in Gotham. You hear me? I know you're in there. This ain't no homeless shelter. Hey, you're free. Yeah.
And he's even drawn to look a little bit like Adam West.
Yeah, I think so. I need to work for some human agent. I tried. I really do. But they still think of me as the Grey Ghost. Don't fool them. I can do what the parts. I'm an actor.
He does such a good job with this part, and it's like a serious, dramatic part. Even when I was talking about like Adam West having like this whole second career, kind of like playing himself in various stuff, like Simpsons or Family Guy, and he was doing really well for himself with that, so that's good. But you rarely got to see him like really stretch his wings as like a dramatic kind of actor like that. Really good. Yester Toys. Christian from Black Lagoon, Robbie the Robot. Lots of nice little Easter eggs there. That's a thing from, I think, Outer Limits. Or was it Twilight Zone?
You sure want to get rid of it?
That's Bruce Timm as the voice of the toy store guy.
I can't pay much, Mr. Trent. Your Grey Ghost merchandise just isn't much in demand. I mean, no one's buying.
Well, the show doesn't exist anymore. Nobody knows it exists. They've all forgotten about it because it's lost media.
Well, Frank, take that for the last time.
So all of his collection. Oh, but look at that. It's all back. Oh, it's Superman. No, it's a different friend. Dramatic music. So he put on his best bow tie and go to hell hat to go meet whoever his mysterious benefactor is. But I'm sure you, dear viewer, have figured out who it is. Because who else could it be? Batman himself. And so Batman meets Batman. The only person who can help Batman is Batman. But this guy's just an actor. He's not the real Grey Ghost. But Batman doesn't think of it that way. He thinks he's the guy from the television show. When you're a kid, like, you don't really make that kind of distinction. I know when I met Adam West, it was like I met Batman.
The bombings in Gotham are exactly like this. Grey Ghost. I need you to remember how it was done. I made hundreds of those shows. They're all blurred. Now leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
It's like how people are surprised that William Shatner can't remember the intro to Star Trek that all of us have memorized. The space, the final frontier. We all know that by heart because we've seen the episodes hundreds of times. He went in there and spent an afternoon maybe recording that, and probably never thought about it again afterwards. So it is kind of like, if you think about it logically, it's kind of absurd for Batman to actually expect for Simon Trent to remember the minutia of that one Mad Bomber episode. Hell, how many episodes do you think that the Grey Ghost had to actually deal with a Mad Bomber? Probably was something that came up quite a bit, I would think. Like once every season or two.
You know something.
Yeah.
You recognize that sound. This is harassment. I'm calling the police.
But he actually did remember something when he heard the sound. That was distinctive enough for him to remember.
Help me.
Adam West had mentioned in his autobiography that he liked what Kevin Conroy did as the voice of Batman, and felt like he was reminded of his own performance as Batman, so that's nice. But we see that he's got copies of all the shows, so it still does exist.
I'm not the Grey Ghost. I can see that now.
Aww. Never meet your heroes. And there's some more dramatic music. And Bruce Wayne sitting there watching this episode of a show that he liked when he was a kid, getting all into it. What a nerd. Just sitting there on his couch, watching this old show, enjoying these snacks with this shit-eating grin on his face. What a nerd. What a complete nerd. Oh. Well, thank you for your kind reactions.
That's it. That's the noise. You gotta be kidding.
And it's a toy car. So somebody's using like a toy car. Who would have a toy car like that? And there's the remote control car again. So whoever is doing this must have been a fan of the show and has access to toy cars. Who did they set up earlier in the episode that had toys? Nice. That was a pretty crazy gambit on Batman's part. Imagine if it didn't work. But of course, he's Batman. Everything worked for him. Good stuff. So it would seem. Uh-oh. I like how these remote controlled gray ghost cars, they look a lot like the original Batmobile from the Golden Age comics with the big bat head on the front of the hood. So I guess that's supposed to be like a ghost head on the front of the gray ghost car.
Like you said, you need my help. Look for me here.
There were some pictures taken of Adam West, like I think like in the early '90s for a magazine, where he put on the Batman suit one last time. I believe it was one of the ones Wally Wingert made. Very high quality, very accurate replicas. And even for like a dude like at that time would have been in his 60s, he still looked good in the suit. He still probably could have played Batman, like in a Dark Knight Returns kind of context, even if it was a campy version. So yeah, Simon Trent putting his old gray ghost costume back on, still rocking it. It's realistic. So now we get a thrilling car chase. This is probably like one of the best Batmobile sequences on the show. At least as I remember it. And it's hard to animate that thing because it's just such a big, long vehicle. Very angular. So sometimes you see the car go kind of flooby when it goes around a corner or something like that, where it'll kind of flex around the corner. Yeah, see where it went over the hill and it kind of curved along with the hill because the thing's so long. I know a lot of people really love this Batman the Animated Series Batmobile, and it is, you know, one of the most iconic versions of the vehicle. But I can understand why they redesigned it later. It did make it easier to animate with these second versions, the new Batman Adventures version. Such a fanboy. And there's the Batman Animated Series logo with the gray ghost with the cape over his face. So even that Batman was just copying the gray ghost.
Fingerprints in the toy car, and they belong to you, Simon Trent. It's that easy.
Why they got Simon Trent's fingerprints?
The man bomb follows you step by step. I'm not the man bomb. I'm not. I sold my grandpa's cars months ago. Paper money.
Oh, it can't be him. It's Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm was the villain the whole time. Now later on Superman, the animated series, they would have Superman's villain from the comics, the Toy Man, who used toys to commit crimes, and they made a pretty creepy version of him. Now I forget who did the voice of Toy Man on Superman, but when they brought the character back on the Justice League animated show, that character was again voiced by Bruce Timm. So I have kind of a theory that this character actually is the Toy Man.
They can even eat money. Oh boy, can they eat money.
Oh, tell me about it.
Remember the episode? Let go. What else the toy can do?
It could carry a bomb.
It can hold a city for ransom. Oh, the power of the toy. It can earn millions, a little old toy collector.
So for a guy who's not a professional voice actor, who's an animator by trade, he does a really good job playing this character, I think. He's good in the earlier scene where he's more of a sympathetic kind of character, and he's good here where he's kind of like a manic villain. And when his toy shop blows up, his reaction is just priceless. The animation there is so good with the fire. Yeah, I can relate.
Mics have turned out in record numbers to celebrate the video release of the long-lost Grey Ghost television series. And on hand for the festivities is the toast of the town, the Grey Ghost himself, Simon Trent.
Please let it out to me first.
Yeah, I think I'll wait for the DVD release though.
There you go, Bruce.
Aw.
Thanks, Mr. Trent.
Clark Kent was back there.
I used to watch it with my father. The Grey Ghost was my hero.
Aw. And hey, look, there's on the People magazine cover with the Grey Ghost, Bruce Wayne was on there too. So 2 Batmans. And actually, that damn it, I hit the wrong button. That drawing of Bruce Wayne looked a lot like it was a drawing of Kevin Conroy. So yeah, that was the Grey Ghost. Beware the Grey Ghost. One of my personal favorite episodes of the show. I thought it was a beautiful homage to the original TV Batman, Adam West. Definitely, it's good that they were able to give him a little bit of work there, because work was kind of scarce for him for a lot of the 70s and 80s, and at that time he kind of hit his renaissance, and definitely a good thing that he did. He was always a talented performer, and I think deserved a lot better than what he got. It's the sort of thing where like he did such a good job playing Batman to fit that particular version of the character. And I think a lot of people, like, at that time kind of misinterpreted, like, him playing such a ridiculous part so seriously as bad acting. And then there's that whole ridiculous notion of, like, oh, well, people are only going to look at you and see you as Batman. Like that's a bad thing to be remembered for a role. And I think about all the great actors, like Adam West or like Leonard Nimoy or like William Shatner, that would get kind of typecast as playing certain characters, and it's not so bad to like have a character where like, oh yeah, I remember when he played Batman. I don't see how that's a bad thing at all. I think it definitely played to his strength when he was on Family Guy.
For the festivities.
But yeah, since I accidentally hit I hit the home button instead of the pause button. But at least I can see that People magazine cover again. Do you think that Simon Trent figured out from that little hint that Bruce Wayne was actually Batman? I like to think so. So let's see. Yeah, Kevin Conroy is Batman. Bob Hastings as Commissioner Gordon. Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. as Alfred. Mary Devon as Summer Gleason. Joe Leahy as the narrator. Bruce W. Timm as Ted Dimer. I didn't even realize he had a name. And Adam West as the Grey Ghost. So that was our cast for that episode. That excellent episode. And our next episode, I believe, is going to be Cat Scratch Fever. The only Batman story that I know of that's named after a Ted Nugent song. So, and that, of course, will be the return of Catwoman and also Roland Daggett, who will be the main antagonist of that episode. And if you want to catch it when it's live, make sure that you like and subscribe and hit that little bell. I'll probably be watching that one tomorrow, and I'll probably be taking Sunday off. I might watch it tomorrow, I might not. It depends on what time I wake up. So if I don't watch it on Saturday, it will definitely be up on Sunday. So, or not Sunday, Monday. I'm not going to do anything on Sunday because Sunday's going to be a busy day for me. So, but that's pretty much it for this one. We will talk to you next time. Bye.